Okay. We're recording.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Rites of Passage. Here we have Alex and Susie, our final two Inferno Season 2 Firewall. Here we're going to talk about the entirety of the cast, start to finish, from Lawrence to Bruce. So let's get it English. Let's get it started, shall we? So our 18th placer, Lawrence. Anyone can start?
Okay. So we both did not meet Lawrence in this game. However, I was kind of excited to see he was on the cast because he played in Hypnotic, and I really liked him from his energy in his interview. So I was kind of excited to see how he would play this game, but he got first boot, and I wasn't able to meet him. I don't know why, but would have been fun.
Didn't he play another game? Our other game?
Like, what?
Our first game?
I don't think he did.
I thought he did. I don't know. Maybe someone told me he did, but I could be wrong.
I think you're being lied to.
Probably. But yeah, never met him in this game.
Wish him all the best.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on to our 17th placer, Gianna.
Oh, so screwed in this game.
Yeah. Gianna, I did play our other game, and she's so sweet.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to play with her in this game.
Well, yeah, it was really nice of her to like with the captain's twist, us not really knowing anything, and she was just like, "Hey, I'll do it. I'll get you guys the tea, and I'll come." Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, she was the first captain, and then our tribe had that collective like freak out moment of, "Where's Gianna?"
Oh yeah. Wait, yeah, I'm totally got my things confused where it was like the first people were on our tribe and went over. Yeah. So we did play with them.
We played with somebody
Yeah.
in this part of the game. Gianna's a sweetheart and deserved better.
Yeah, I wish she stayed longer.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Okay. Our next person, our 16th placer, Allie.
Okay, so did not play with her either.
Yeah, did not play with Allie.
Quite literally, the only thing I know about her is that once Marvin got out, we'll talk about later, like Bruce was saying something about like we got Marvin out for Allie. I guess Allie was like really bitter on Marvin or something. From something that happened like before the tribe happened.
Yeah, there was something with, I remember hearing something about how the vote out for her was like unexpected.
Oh, she got blindsided?
Or maybe who she voted for, something. I don't know. I remember hearing stuff though, but I also heard that she's great. And
yeah, I didn't watch a bunch of people's intro videos, but she was one of the only ones that I did, and she just seemed really nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess from the sounds of it, she was in like a relatively good position, but then the vote just went somewhere different. Which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Oh wait, let me. Yeah. So let me rewind real quick to Gianna. Like one of her first messages to me, it was literally like, "Hey, do you want to work together and like be in an alliance?" Like that was literally her first message to me, and I was like, like
Honestly, she knows what she wants in a game, and I respect that.
yeah." It was really funny, but and it was great. So who knows what could have happened?
Who
But
knows? Yeah.
yeah,
If the Captain Swiss wasn't here, this game could have gone in a completely different direction.
I know, right? Anyway, sorry to backtrack real quick, but I forgot about that and I had to mention it.
No, you're good. I don't really have much more to say about Allie.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
except maybe I'll say hey after the game and stuff and
Yeah.
all that.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to Lewis, who self-deleted.
Oh.
Aw.
Okay, first of all, I hope Lewis is doing okay.
Yes.
Just otherwise, because I know he was very big into he was very into the show that he was in while the game was going on.
Yeah.
And as far as me, like, him and I just didn't really, connect right off the bat, and I think that just had a little bit to do with like him being not as active, and then like I don't know, just not being around. But he seemed like a really nice guy, and I wish he didn't self-delete, but hopefully again he's doing okay.
Yeah. I hope he is too. I still could be having my people mixed up. I think it was Lewis. One of the funny things is in the scavenger hunt challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and for a floppy disk, he put a flash drive, a picture of a flash drive in for a floppy disk.
Oh, I think that might have been him. Yeah.
Was it him? Yeah, I think it was him too. And I was like, Lewis, do you know what
Hey,
a floppy disk is?
hey, I wasn't much better. I put in like the CD-ROM tray that like
Oh
comes on like
yeah.
a PC, like a. So
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say that. We'll say that one category was a wash. Nobody knew what it was, and nobody had it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
But yeah, hopefully he's all good, and maybe we can cross paths in another game.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
All right, we're gonna move to our 14th placer, Jazzy.
So sad that this happened.
I know.
Were you on the other tribe by this?
Yeah, so that Jazzy was the first vote for when I got over there. And gosh, I think could I have been like could I have been the deciding vote for her? Maybe. I just knew that because we both played with Jazzy before,
Mm-hmm.
and she did really well, and in other games, and I know she's very good at orgs, and I knew going over there, like as much as I would love to play with her, I knew or I thought it was in my best interest for my game that if there was a chance to vote her out, that I needed to do that
Yeah.
for my game. Because honestly, who knows what would have happened if she had stayed.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Jazzy is so underrated at these games. Like people like people like look at her and like her style of gameplay and the way she talks to people and just automatically assume she isn't a threat, which is like such a good trait of hers to have.
Yeah.
Because then she can just demolish everyone, which she usually does.
Right, exactly. I just, even from just playing one game, I just knew she could have made it far, really far, and possibly,
Yeah.
this far.
This was like my 6th game where both Jesse and I were in the cast.
Wow. Dang, that's crazy. And
We
like,
just happen to play the same games a lot. It's
right.
really...
And it's like, maybe it's unfair to assume right off the bat that she is such a big threat and blah blah blah. But since I had gone over mid to their tribe mid game, I think that's a big part of why I chose to do it. Who knows, like maybe if we had ended up on a tribe, like a starting tribe together, maybe it would have been different. And who knows, maybe we could have like dominated together. But I think, I think it was a mix.
Were people on Encrypt, like when you got over there, were they already saying her name?
From what I remember, yes.
Okay, so
yeah. From what I remember, yes, she was already, because when I got over there, it was the like clearly like two sides, and Jazzy was on the other side.
Okay, so then I guess that one side like just recognized her as the social threat that you already probably knew she was.
Yeah, exactly. That very well could have been.
So yeah, no, that's fair. But love Jazzy so dearly. Wish she could have gone. Wish she could have gone further. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, our next person is our 13th placer, Jesse.
Jesse. I feel kind of bad because how me and Jesse, like what happened with us in Applause was we were always kind of like in Applause, at least we were always kind of working like next to each other but never really with each other. And then at the point in the game we were like, oh, we should probably start working together. She got voted out. So I sort of came to her at the beginning of this game and I was like, hey, let's have like a redo. Let's start the beginning of this game actually working together. And like she was super down for that, and I was like ready to go with her. But unfortunately, like the game relationships with like you and Lauren and Tommy were just ended up being stronger, and she's the odd one out by the time we finally went to tribal.
Yeah. I know. It was nice to play with another familiar face. That's always nice. I know. I don't. Well, and then when it came time for captain and voting for captain, she was pretty adamant about voting me. And we didn't know much about captain, so
Right at that point, at that point, we just assumed you get voted captain, you stay on the other side.
Right. And from just solely my conversations with her, just her alone, when she said, like, when she threw out my name, it just got me wondering. I was like, I wonder what's the deeper reasoning. She said it was random, but
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know either. And so just solely based on my conversations with her, that's why I was like, I wonder what's going to happen. And I wonder like what would happen if they decided like not to vote her out, and come merge it was, you know, Tommy, Alex, and Jesse instead of Tommy, Alex, and Lauren. I wonder what it would have been like. But
then how did you feel when Jesse was voted out?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, I wasn't surprised just based on the dynamics of stuff like you said. I mean, me, you, Tommy, and Lauren, I think were more so the ones talking.
Yeah, that
Jesse.
was the thing. It was like a big factor in like deciding that, like, besides Jesse just not really talking much that day,
Right.
was like, okay, if Lauren or Tommy goes, then like Susie's not ever gonna like feel comfortable with us, you know?
Right.
But yeah, Jesse is great. Felt bad about the way it went down, especially when we started the game with such a strong "hey, let's work together" mentality. But yeah,
hopefully she just continues to play more and more games, and you know, one day win one.
yeah.
I know
she's good at games.
Yeah, for sure.
I forget what
And
game it was, but she was in Final 3. So
okay, cool, yeah. And because I know she loves them, so
yeah.
Hopefully, maybe our paths will cross.
Yes. Love that.
Ooh.
Okay. Our next player is our 12th placer, Nick.
Oh yeah.
I was disgusted to see Nick get voted out.
Was that the vote where?
It was like a tie and then a revote.
Okay, and that was the one that caused. That was the first merge vote, right?
No, that was the round where both tribes did like the cup thing. And then there was one person per tribe that was safe.
Oh, right. So that's what caused. Okay, that's what caused Jesse. So it was Jesse and Nick together.
Right, in the same round, yeah.
I see.
So yeah, well, you're gonna have to tell me.
Yeah. Then I'm kind of drawing a blank. I mean, I guess that was the second vote I was over there for, and at that point, I guess I was kind of trying to keep talking to the people who I had started talking to when I got over there, which I guess would have been like, well, yeah, which I was talking to. I was still feeling out Jonah and Corey, because it was like, yeah, it was Jonah and Corey who had went over there from
our tribe, yeah.
From us, yeah. And I was still feeling them out and seeing what they said. And then at that point, I was, talking to Morgan here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And so between, I think, Jonah and Morgan, I got the, vibe that it was Nick. And they were in the majority for the last vote for Jazzy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like, and
did they give you a reason as to why Nick?
Probably just that he was on the other side, and that, not majority, and that he was closer with other people. I think.
Well, because it was a tie between between them, excuse me, Marvin and Jonah, but didn't play that. So it was between Nick and Marvin, and then everybody voted Nick.
Oh, okay.
So I guess Nick was the target going into that night.
Probably. Maybe. I'm trying to. Sorry, I totally should have looked at this stuff before. But
Was that a Christmas wreath?
yeah.
Okay.
And Valentine's Day.
Sure, why not?
Haven't taken them down.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I guess there was some talk about oh, it's gonna be a tie or
Jeez.
something of this sort, and vote for Nick. I'm sure I was told that at least.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, at that point, I was trying to lay low because I had just come over from another tribe.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me see what people are saying and do that. So that's basically what I can remember from it. I also don't think I talked to him.
Oh.
At all.
Okay.
At least at that point. Not that I can remember.
Well, from my perspective at least, Nick has always been one of those players in the community where I've seen them play games before and their gameplay is always insane. I don't even know how they get themselves to the end, but they just manage to do so.
Yeah.
And I was really excited because Nick was another player that was in Hypnotic that they got out pre-jury because of another thing that happened. And I was really looking forward to my first game play with them, and then y'all just had to take take the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is what it is. I just wish.
Right. No, yeah, for sure.
God, everyone in this cast was robbed. Quite frankly. Although not too robbed, because here we are. Whoops.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna move forward into our first juror, which is Corey.
Oh,
Corey.
love Corey. Me and Corey just clicked really well.
Yeah.
Actually, this is kind of funny. One of the most vivid things I remember about Corey is that me and him were talking a lot the first round, and especially that free day we had after the scavenger hunt. And then later that night when Gianna didn't come back, he offered himself to be the next captain. And then I privately messaged him. I was like, dude, you realize if we win, you go over to the other tribe and we're split up until probably merge. And then he was like, oh crap. He's like, I didn't think about that.
Oh my gosh.
No, Corey and I had some very lovely calls together. I think we clicked pretty well in this game, even just talking about non-game stuff. They're a great personality. Yeah, I was happy I finally got to play with them because again, Corey was like another person that's like in the community, but oh my god, camera angle switch. Oh, there was like a feedback loop. Okay, I think
that was me. That was because I joined from my laptop now.
okay.
Yeah, Corey, I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to Corey like super much. I don't think I talked to Corey very much in the like even when we were on Keylogger. But I mean, I didn't talk. I mean, Keylogger. We didn't. As a whole.
Keylogger wasn't a very active tribe.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, going over to Encrypt, I wanted to talk to Jonah and Corey, and I just remember when I would ask Corey, like one time I asked Corey, like, what's the deal, like, with the vote, and like, where's your head, blah blah blah, and he's like, I'm not really sure, like, ask Jonah. And I was like, oh, okay, like, cool, okay. And so I asked Jonah like right after. I was like, hey, like, where's your head? Like, you know, I just always want to feel out you and Corey because, you know, OGs, blah blah blah. And he's like, I'm not really sure. Maybe ask Corey. I was like, okay.
Come on, it's like, come on, guys. Yeah.
You're both giving me a lot to work with.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, wait. Well, because, and then also, like, wasn't that at that point, like Corey voted Jonah?
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah.
Like,
well,
Corey,
then see, and this was like the beginning too, that this happened, where it was like for the Jazzy vote, where I was asking him this. So.
Oh, okay. So never mind. So.
Just like speaking about his like gameplay and stuff.
Okay, so this is before that, because we'll get into this. We'll get into this more when we talk about Jonah, but like there were a good number of people that saw Jonah as like a flip flopper in the game, and I know Corey was one of those people. So it's interesting to have this come off of this like, we'll check with the other person sort of mentality, but then.
Right. Exactly.
Oh.
I just thought that was like a funny thing from, from part of Corey, which is also half Jonah. So, yeah.
And then this was so what was so sad about, because where I got the block about from was at the merge tribal. There was a little sign in yeah, there's the sign in the background of Topher's thing that said like block about or whatever. So I like sent a screenshot of it to the prod chat, and they like, I got a puzzle basically.
Oh. Wait, well, I think I saw that. I saw that too, and tried it, but I was too late. So.
Oh, okay.
It was like one of those things where I sent it like way after the fact.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, what was really sad was like, I sent it and I got the puzzle, and then during tribal I got a message from Corey that says like, hey, there's the thing behind Topher. I got a puzzle. We got to talk about this after. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then he gets voted out.
Oh my god.
It was like, no, who do I talk to about this now?
Oh.
All right, are we ready for the next person?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Live, laugh, love, Corey. I get to talk. I get to talk to him again tomorrow. Woo!
Mm.
This is exciting because we're probably getting to the people we get to like talk to tomorrow, and they may hate us.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our second member of our jury. 10th placer, Tommy.
Man.
Sorry, not Tommy. Tanner.
Oh.
Oh, Tanner.
I know. That was sad.
In the context of it being like the only unanimous vote, like all basically unanimous vote of the jury phase. It would have been unanimous if Marvin hadn't fallen asleep. But yeah, because he like pre-voted Jonah and then just never changed his vote. But I do like Tanner just like as a person, but playing with him in this game was just frustrating for me because the round he went out, I did not want him to go.
Yeah.
Which is why like Jonah came to me at one point and probably to other people and was like because he was one of the people eligible to vote out, and he's like, hey, let's vote out Tanner. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. I think Tanner's like a non-threat at this point. And after like I sort of reconciled with him after voting for him during the Corey vote, I was like, I don't really want him to go. So I go to Tanner and I'm like, hey, like Jonah is throwing your name out. And I literally even copy pasted the messages because he didn't believe me. I didn't forward them. Don't worry, it's not like a. But like all he would talk about when I was doing that was how he thinks Lauren is sticking to her own side. And I'm like I'm like trying to talk to him. I'm trying to be like, dude, this person is throwing your name out and wants you out of the game. And he just couldn't stop talking about Lauren, excuse me. And like there had already been a bunch of talks from people on both sides, from both original tribes, saying like, yeah, Tanner's kind of sticking with his original people. And from that conversation, it just kind of made me realize like, if Tanner is only really concerned about the one person that's on the other OG tribe, and not the person that's from his OG tribe but is actively trying to get him out, then like it's only a matter of time before he tries to get me out. So
yeah,
it sucked, but
yeah, it was sad. Because I think genuinely on our side, we genuinely were. It wasn't I think what people maybe assumed, and like, oh, they just think he's easy to keep around and to keep for a vote.
yeah.
But like, I mean, I think I think we genuinely just like he was fun to. I mean, he was fun to have there, and I mean, like we had his back, but it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It.
He's not even a bad game player.
Yeah.
Just gets stuck. I think he just gets like stuck in his own thoughts, and when he thinks something could be true and then decides it is true, kind of stays on that line.
Yeah.
But like this is not my first game I've played with him. I think he's doing he's done better than his first couple games. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Hopefully he keeps playing, and
Tanner will keep playing.
Yeah, for sure. Oh.
Like he's the one I have like no doubt. Like he'll keep playing, and I really like that.
Yeah, definitely. He's great though.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, it's time to segue into the next juror, our third member of the jury. 9th placer, Tommy.
My heart when
I mean,
you voted him out.
Tommy and I definitely connected in the beginning. Like we got on, we got on calls like pretty quickly and talked, and I felt like really comfortable with him. And I was like, okay, like me, Tommy, and Alex could like dominate this, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I think I got in my head about my whole captain, and I was like, okay, well, like how close actually are like Alex and Tommy and even Lauren, and like I just got in my head about it like too much. And then by the time I went over and like, found a side over there that was, seemingly the majority.
Right. It's easy to stick with that. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
It makes sense.
Exactly. And then what, after the, who was it? The Corey vote? After the Corey vote? When
it was Corey and then Tanner and then Tommy.
Okay, so Corey was first merge vote, right?
First merge. Yeah.
So it was after that vote where literally like when y'all were very confused about how did that happen because of me, and so that's when we went dark for like rounds. And I've not talked to Tommy since after that vote.
Well, I think that was just because like at that point both of us kind of felt burned by the fact that like you were kind of presenting this thought of like, oh, I don't really know what's going on in this tribe. I feel lost. I need someone to like rely on, and then you voted like against us. So I know it, like that affected me at that point in the game, and I know it definitely affected Tommy at that point in the game. Because like I'll just say, yeah, me and Tommy were as much of a duo as everyone like thought we would. We were telling each other everything,
right? Which like makes sense. Like
even that group of 4, that like of me, you, Lauren, and Tommy. Like me and Tommy thought of that group of 4 before we even went to you guys to be like, ooh, it'd be cool. What if we made this group of 4 like,
right?
Like we are working very well together, and like to see him get like sniped out when I know him and I just were not expecting it at all.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I thought I explained, well, I did technically like just do a quick like explanation of the Corey thing in like whatever. It was just a quick like, oh, basically like was told what to do, like, whatever from my side. And I don't, maybe he didn't see that, or maybe I didn't explain it like enough or something.
Like you messaged him that?
Yeah, I basically said this same thing I said to you right after. And then
you didn't say anything to me after.
I think I said something really quickly. Like I think it was just a quick like
on call?
No, just a quick like thing, like a 1 or 2 liner. And
no, I remember this because I kept staring at our chat like when we weren't talking in the game. It was like the last thing you messaged me was like before the vote.
Was it Wait, because it was. I swear this has to. Oh, well, it was the. It was the. I'm a. Man.
Let's see if we can scroll back to this, because like.
Yeah, because I do.
Yeah, we finally started talking again. That's nice.
Right.
Right. I said, I mean, voting for either one of them seems like the safe bet at this point, as far as staying safe.
Yeah.
And then.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So I said that before the vote, and then just the radio silence.
Oh, maybe. Okay, then maybe Tommy was the only one that I said it to then, because I did a quick.
Maybe.
I did a very quick thing to Tommy that was just.
Well.
Or no, it was I asked him a question and he's like, "What? Like I'm not just talking to you. Like, can you explain? Can you explain what this was?"
Yeah, one thing I will say about Tommy is that, at least to me, he was very open about the people he did not like.
Yeah.
And at that point in the game, it just happened to be you again.
Yeah.
Again, I think because of the way that like you were presenting yourself before that vote, and then like obviously like I trusted him fully. I think he trusted me fully. I wasn't about to be like, you know what, maybe Susie has a point, and like.
Oh yeah. No, that's understandable. No, yeah, I said, well, by the time I did end up explaining, he said you should have asked like blah blah blah, or like brought it up, and I said I figured we were all set, and then before tribal, I was told like this is the vote now, and I just didn't really question it and assumed that it would be a landslide type thing.
There were
and then after, and that was my actual explanation. And then after that, it was just nothing. And
well, because at that point, like, I think the general consensus, especially held by Tommy at that point, was like, oh, the same 6 people that voted Jazzy out, but the same 6 people that split the vote on Nick and Marvin were the same 6 people that got Corey out.
Right. And
so then, that group, and especially led by Tommy, who was probably the most vocal at that point, was very much like, the 6 are sticking together. They're just gonna landslide their way to the end. Tommy was so open about what he felt in the game, and I would have, and that one tribal where everything just where everything just got spilled to everyone. I would have loved to see what he would have said at that point.
Oh my gosh, right? I mean, I'm kind of like, it's kind of interesting to me that since he knew that y'all like weren't in the majority voting or whatnot, like I'm just surprised he never tried to like actually tried to pick back up and be like, yo, like what, like, do you want you, Alex Lawrence, like, do you want to like bring that back, like something? I'm just surprised he never like
I guess maybe he just thought you'd kind of like made your bed and you were like,
yeah, I guess. But then it's a game. Everything changes like daily, hourly, that sort of thing. So I just thought that was interesting, but who knows what could have happened. He could have maybe not gone home with an idol.
Yeah, he did do that, didn't he? Oh my gosh. Well, that was interesting, because I had heard from, I'm curious to talk to him afterwards, because I heard from like half of the people he was throwing my name out, and then the other half of the people he didn't.
Well, yeah, I think from what I remember, at the vote wasn't really going to be Tommy.
And then he just started spewing everyone.
It was going to be something else. And we decided pretty like last minute quickly. We were like, actually, y'all, it's gonna be Tommy. He's been saying this and this and this, and he was kind of going back and forth. And so we kept it like so on the DL.
Yeah.
And
well, again, very open player.
Because that was obviously the me vote, where once you guys had kind of realized like, what is Susie doing, it was like, oh, obviously, like, let's just get rid of her. So we were all
like angry.
Oh yeah.
Like slightly working off of emotion, but also Tommy recognizing that like getting you out would like have them get rid of like one less number.
Exactly. And I will say too, just it was very satisfying. Like when
I'm sure to
watching that vote, rewatching that video, and when I could pinpoint like to the seconds where both you and Tommy realized like, oh shoot, wait, they're actually voting Tommy out, and realizing that
it was a good move on people's parts. I'm not going to deny that it wasn't a good move. But in conclusion, I miss you, Tommy.
In conclusion, like, I mean, part of me does think back and is like, what if?
Yeah, maybe that whole situation could have been done better, but you know what? Whatever happened got us here, so woohoo!
Yeah. And hopefully he'll talk to me on a personal level after the game.
I feel like he will. Well, here's
right.
I'm good. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to our 8th placer, Lauren.
Okay, so after Tommy got voted out, and I saw me and Marvin were paired up for the music video. And again, this was right after the trust rankings where me and Marvin were like bottom. I literally went to Lauren, who, again, I fully trusted. I'm pretty sure she fully trusted me at this point. I literally went to Lauren and was like, hey, can you like throw the music video comp so that me and Marvin can win? Well, I don't think she actually did, but I was like joking with her, be like, hey, me and Marvin kind of need this. Again, I don't know if she did, but it's just kind of funny how that's what started the round out, and then whatever happened ended up happening. My history with Lauren's interesting because this is my second game I played with her. The first game I played with her, it was literally just like a tribe divided down the middle, and she just happened to be on the other side. That was the majority, and then she was like responsible for voting me out. So this time it was fun to work with her, and I've said before, that's like one of my most enjoyable things to do is like find somebody that I've played a game with before but we haven't worked together, and this time being like, hey, let's actually try this out, see if it works. And she was a very loyal ally, I thought, for basically the whole game.
I think after the Corey vote and then after the Tanner vote, especially, that's when she realized and I'm sure she was still, I had a feeling, she was still talking to you and Tommy, and which made sense, all three coming over from Keylogger.
Well, it was less that and more so, we keep being on the wrong side of the vote. I literally have no choice but to stick with the people that were also on the wrong side.
Right, exactly. And I had a feeling that she was definitely more like sticking with you guys, but I still I tried, I tried as much as I could to still talk game with her as much as I could.
I'm still listening. Keep going.
Yeah, you're good. I tried as much as I could, but I just know towards the end, the game talk wasn't as much there. So I don't know. I just had a feeling she probably thought I had betrayed you all and stuff like that, and
La-di-da. Well, again, she's a very loyal player, so
right, exactly.
I can imagine if someone, in your words, betrays her, that maybe she might take it personally or something like that. Which I hope she doesn't. I just hope we're all friends after this.
I know, for sure.
And the other thing I'll say about her is that I know that she was, because at that point in the game when it was Final 8, the only two people I was actually fully on board with was I was keeping up conversations with people, but the people I was fully on board with were Marvin and Lauren at that point, and they're both kind of expressing the same things to me as far as oh, these people, whatever, they're just handing the game to whatever, and these people aren't voting for themselves or they're playing for this place. And Marvin was saying this stuff kind of publicly, and even posting the 3 blind mice thing in the VO. Meanwhile, Lauren was kind of just saying this stuff to me privately.
Yeah.
But
then when it came time to her vote out
to the tribal, she was being vocal. I was like, oh, this is a new side. I like it.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I just it was a bummer to hear oh, Susie only messages me for game stuff or whatnot, and like I said, I think that was kind of just partly due to their we just flat out we flat out maybe weren't talking as much, so it's but I'm still gonna attempt to talk game with you since we have been talking, or we have been talking since the beginning, and we were talking game and all that. But I understand why she was feeling the way she was feeling, so yeah.
I mean, well, I'm curious, how were you feeling at that point at Tribal? Because I was kind of the thought of okay, I'm glad all this stuff is being said. However, I'm driving, I can't really participate in it.
At that point too, with her, it was she had already voted for me last. She clearly voted for me during the Tommy round, so I was okay, I mean, clearly, and the separation and all that.
I voted for you. Hey, I voted for you too. So.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean,
right, it didn't help things. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It didn't help anything with me and Lauren specifically. So there was that. But then, of course, what I've brought up before to you and Marvin was when Lauren brought it up too, the whole they're playing for this place and they're the people following blah blah blah, and just the same people. I never that wasn't a tribal where I spoke up after or during or anything, but in my head it was the same thing that I brought up to you at one point, where it was okay, are you just annoyed or bitter that there's a side that has majority and that is taking out another side when you're not safe. Like, is that like?
Well, I think it's like okay, I think because I think the reason that like majority sides are a little different in like a Survivor game versus like Big Brother is like if there's a majority side in Big Brother, like they can only really be in power if somebody wins HOH on their side.
Yeah.
Like if an outsider wins HOH, like one of them's going home, and then the game gets more interesting. However, if there's like let's say a 6-4 majority in a Survivor game, even if one of the people in the 4 wins immunity, then the 6 can just decide, oh, okay, we'll just vote out person number 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's no real way to like chip away at the majority. So I think the talks of like people wanting the game to be more fluid, people wanting like people wanting others to work with people that they haven't been working with since like the beginning. I feel like that's where a lot of those things.
Well, and it's like she like when she was like, oh, she's only messaging me for a game or whatnot. When she threw that out there, it's like, okay, well, if you truly wanted the game to go a different way, why are you not pitching to me? Like, why are you not trying to play a game with me and be like, and try to change my mind? Like, what, like, why are you not messaging me and being like, hey, so, like, I talked to Alex and, like, I think, like, if me, you, Alex, Marvin, like, came together and we, like, voted out, like, we want to vote out this person, like, this person's, like, actually a threat because A, B, C, D, like, why was there none of that if she genuinely, like, was tired of the game, like, going that way, you know? Like, why, like, I feel like that's, like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, her thoughts very well could have changed on everything, like having sat on the jury. So,
yeah.
we're just gonna have to see tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Where everyone stands on everything. You know?
Exactly.
But all in all, love playing with Lauren.
Yeah, for sure. She's great.
Shawnee boy, who's our next person?
Sorry. We are going to talk about, y'all are going to talk about the next member of the jury, our 7th place, Chrisanne.
Yes.
I love Chrisanne.
I still don't know fully what happened there. Although I guess I think at that point in the game, Chrisanne sort of became this like beacon of hope for me and Marvin, who were kind of just like this group of 2 against this group of 5 at that point. And Chrisanne, I guess at that point was kind of like maybe not so starting to realize like, oh, I was playing for 5th place or whatever with that, but maybe realizing like, okay, maybe I could be in a better position to win if I like reposition myself.
Right.
And I guess like for being open enough to be like, hey, let's see if we can make something happen this round. Like, really appreciate her for that. But even besides that, she was just great to talk to.
Yeah, I love her. She was great because she was so appreciative of like me keeping her and all. So that was always nice that he's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for keeping me and all that. And
for like when
the what boat was it? I think it was the jet.
Like, when was she even in like consideration?
Was it? I'm trying to think. I'm like, I think it was the Jazzy vote. Maybe it was like because it was like literally the first.
Wow.
Might have been the first vote that I was over there for when I didn't even know her. Like I didn't really even talk to her very much, and I had heard her name, and I was like, I've heard your name, but like, I don't really
Mm-hmm.
want to vote for you. And she was just so appreciative of that. And
That's yeah. She has a great personality. It's crazy. She like, I remember on I like when we got to merge. I think I made a like a cast breakdown of like what like my immediate thoughts on everyone were, and I think mine for Chrisanne was something along the lines of like, seems like a really like easy person to talk to, should be dangerous. like
yeah.
in the sense that like so many people would want to like get in good with her that she could just like build herself an army
Mm-hmm.
to protect her, and like that was something I'd have to like watch out for. So she's always something like in the back of my mind that I was like, maybe I should be worried about her
Yeah.
because she's so well liked.
Right. Well, yeah, it would be interesting to see. I mean, it's interesting the way it all played out because I think like with it all playing out, you like.
I think I think her downside was defecting over to like me and Marvin at that point, which is really interesting.
Well, yeah, and like you wouldn't. Oh, because you wouldn't like you probably wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for the way that all worked out. I think.
Like
From what I'm remembering.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, I would have beat her how?
I think we were. Wait, I'm trying to think. Well, yeah. Well, or actually, wait. What challenge was that?
Final 7? Touchy subjects.
Did you? Oh, wait. Did you win it?
Yeah.
You won. Okay, so you. Okay, no, it what? No, it wasn't. It wasn't you. It was Marvin. Obviously, that
would have gone if it wasn't if Chris Ann hadn't gone over.
Yeah, and then that's where I told you after. I was like, I think I did. I don't know. I'm probably getting my votes confused, but I know. I'm trying to think. I'm like there. You know, I'm just trying to think because now I'm getting it all jumbled. But okay. I was like, wait, what? But it would have been. I mean, regardless, it would have been interesting to see how stuff would have played out if we decided to keep her. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Because I know there was like the potential to like vote for Bruce or like split the votes or whatever.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the plan like swiftly changed once Morgan pulled out her like steal a vote or whatever.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's what it was. There's basically a last hour or two like
as there always
change of mind, literally, because of stuff that Bruce had said and wondering about that, and then certain people going to certain people trying to think of a vote, and yeah, you're right. Yeah. So because of all that, it was a lot of assumptions. Like it was assumptions that turned into like, oh, okay, let's just like do this.
Just another example of why hour before tribal times is disgusting.
Yeah. Literally.
But Chrisanne robbed. Oh, and I hope she's not. Wait, and I remember she was like, on her way out, she was like, Alex, I expected you had something to do with this. And I was like, literally no.
Yeah. It wasn't. And
That's
I wonder if she knows like
it's such a
how
weird. There's like a weird history of this game of people not believing me when I say I'm going to vote somewhere, and then I do, and then it ends up, and then they end up getting voted out because of it.
Oh my gosh.
And we'll get to that later, but yeah, I hope Chrisanne's not mad at me.
Oh, or, I mean.
Okay.
Oh. Be mad at me.
We'll see.
Okay. We're going to move into the next member of the jury, our sixth placer, Marvin.
Iconic. Like, I just have to say it. Iconic. I loved the fact that he was so willing to call people out. Even if it wasn't even true, it got things spicy when the game was boring.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, good for him for making things spicy like that. I'm not brave enough to. I feel like I'm not brave enough to do something like that during tribal.
Oh, like, neither am I. But like, I talked to him afterwards, and he was like, "Well, you know how I am in games." And first of all, I really don't. He was first out in Claws, and second of all, I'd never really played with him enough to like see him get to that point of being like, okay, these people need to like shake things up. But I think it was like his. I think it might have just been his like unwillingness to even bother to try to work with other people.
Well, yeah, I know that was the thing because he's another example of kind of what I was saying with Lauren, and I was like, okay, you're finding it boring. Why are you not? Well, I think we had a message that like that I just randomly created because we hadn't talked yet. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And then I kind of like, I don't know, I guess I kind of like led him on in the message, like making him think that like I was maybe going to vote for like whichever way he was voting, something like that. And then when I didn't, he left the message.
Sure.
And and then I eventually like re-added him back to the message because I was like, yo, what's up? Because I re-added him back after that
call with you and Chris, with us and Chrisanne, where we were like, this is what's going on in the game. We gotta try to.
Yeah, exactly. That's when I added him back after that Tommy vote. Yeah. Was it Lauren vote? Yeah.
Was the tribal where everything went crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. And but yeah, so that whole thing was obviously like pretty funny that, you know, but that's the other thing is like what like and with Marvin even more so. I feel like he even more like why I'm even more like just it's mind-boggling that he was saying how boring it was and all that, and why didn't he try to say that? Why didn't he try to flip me? Why didn't he try to get me back with y'all?
I think it was at that point, like at that point in the game, when it was final. Or first of all, it was that point in the game at Final 6 when both him and I lost immunity.
Yeah.
And I think you won that one.
Oh yeah, that was
the balloon thing.
Oh right. Yeah, that was balloons.
Yo, first of all, absolutely fuck that competition. That was. I was sweating. I was out of breath by the time
Alex, I thought you I was guaranteed. I was like, I thought you were going to do that in like 1 minute or less.
did not. It fell so many times, but we don't need to talk about that. But like both me and him lost, and then I think I was at a point where I was like looking, I was like, okay, it's gonna be me or Marvin this round.
Right.
And I was looking at Marvin, I was being like, okay, he is probably way less likely to actually reaffirm his bonds with these people. So it was that point where I went. It was that point where I went to you, I went to Morgan. I was like, listen, we kind of know where the cards are gonna go, but I'm still willing and open to work with you guys.
Well, I was very much so like,
You want to be out.
You, because of this reason. Look where we are right now. Like,
Hey.
exactly. And I was like, why in the world would you not get Alex? But Morgan was always very pushy for Marvin.
Yeah,
And
because I think that like Marvin had a lot of beef with the other OG Encrypt people, like Morgan and Bruce.
right, exactly.
And then people. So I think there was just some like underlying tension between them.
Well, yeah, and but I also forget why ultimately Jonah and Bruce were going for you. Oh, is it because Morgan used your steel? Her steel. Is that this one Morgan used her steel?
No, Bruce used it and then voted both of them against me. I think in like a spite move.
Oh, okay.
Because it was 3-2 to 1. I think Marvin voted Morgan.
Right.
Then you, Morgan, and Jonah voted Marvin.
Oh, yes.
And then Bruce stole the vote.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it was good for me to keep you. I mean, clearly,
would Marvin have taken you? I don't know.
Right? Like, ultimately, I guess it was good, but like, I mean, I think I mean, I don't. That was a hard one, honestly. That was a hard one because, literally, like I said.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But like, well, I guess I can't speak for like exactly why you voted, but I guess why Morgan and Jonah did was, or why Morgan and Jonah voted is because like again, just Marvin's like unwillingness to like
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense. But yeah, like, why do you want to keep somebody that you literally don't talk to?
Right. Like, and even so, there was a point where I was talking to Jonah, I think during the Lauren round, and like me and him, like this is the first time we were like talking like legit game. Like we always had like small talk, but this is the first time we were like, yo, me and you could actually like do something at this point. And then I was telling that to Marvin. I was like, oh, Jonah like might actually be able to help us. And then Marvin was like, no, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Gonna lie to us, which is like it's fair to have like that mindset of like not being naive about everything, but like being like so close-minded that you're like not even open to the opportunity, I think is what ended up doing him in. But yeah.
Yeah. No, he's funny though.
He's so blunt, and I love that.
Yeah.
And I miss him. I miss everyone in the jury. This is crazy.
Got seaweed in my teeth.
Oh no.
Okay, we're going to move into the next juror. Fifth placer, Morgan.
Morgan.
That one hurts.
Yeah.
Like, she okay. I think Jonah said it best. She was a gigantic threat, but nobody wanted to say it.
Yeah, I don't think people realized how much she was actually like, doing.
Oh, I 100% did. But even so, in the back of my mind, I was like, but she's so much fun to have around. I don't even want to get her out.
Yeah. And because Marvin had called like the three blind mice being like me and Morgan. She included Morgan in that when she should not have been included in that.
No,
I yeah, which he didn't realize.
Well, there might have been a point where I think I realized it because, or not realized it, excuse me, like thought that because a lot of her talks to me after the vote was like, oh, it changed last minute. I was told this. And I was like, and in my head, I literally told her this. I was like, you were told that, as opposed to like, you didn't think of it yourself. You know, like
Right,
the mindset of like, oh, somebody's telling you where to vote, like.
Wait, for me, you're saying?
No, for Morgan.
Oh, I see.
And like actually it wasn't just for Morgan or you, is for like a couple people that were like, oh, this is where I was told like to
Oh,
vote.
I see.
And like for everyone else, I got frustrated about that, but for her, I was like, well, that's not like a good mindset. Like I was wanting to help her. I don't even know why. She was just such a great person to talk to, and for her first game, like she did so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And the fact that like it required like a non-orthodox round
Mm-hmm.
to get her out.
I know. I mean, I was not expecting it. I had
Oh
heard I
yeah,
had known.
I fully expected it to be me.
Really?
That's why
To be you. Yeah.
for Jonah, yeah, that's why I threw the Hail Mary.
Right. Because
Was it necessary? I don't even know. But
from my talks, like I had known a little bit that they were. It seemed like they were close, and they talked pretty often. So I mean, I did not think that, but and it stunk. But looking back, I was like, wow, that was a good move.
yeah, Jonah's smart and like definitely realized like, yeah, Morgan, like I legitimately believe like Morgan beats anyone at the final
Yeah,
five.
like I was
It
gonna
doesn't.
say, and that
It would not matter who she was sitting next to.
right, yeah, what happens if Jonah used it and got Bruce out or something, and then we ended up getting Jonah out, say, then
So then final three is
then
me.
and then final three is us three.
Yeah, let's assume it works the same way. I win final immunity again, and then I have to decide between you and Morgan. Like that's like even so, I legitimately probably would have realized like, oh, Morgan is such a tough beat, but I just like again, such a good personality. I would just would have wanted to take her because I just wouldn't have wanted to be the one to like take the kill shot.
Exactly.
Like
It would have been it would have been very interesting to see how she would have done, in final two.
I think she could have killed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a great player. I hope to see her again.
I know.
I just want to talk to her again. Like I can't. I know I say this for everyone, but like, well, especially for Morgan, we had such good conversations. Like again, not even about game, but it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm excited to hear her again, and I also hope she's doing okay. Like the way it hit her when she got the vote, just like broke broke my heart.
I know. And for me, I will say looking back at that, I'm like, okay, if you look at me, I'm just stone, like nothing. And I felt kind of like bad looking back because I was just showing no emotion when what I think you and Bruce literally, started tearing up, which like was like really sweet. Honestly, like that was like so sweet.
Oh
I'm not even lying, but like I'm just there like this because I think I'm in shock, A, and then B, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh wait, like if he by chance like changes his mind or something, it could be me. So that's where I was just like, don't like.
Well, I had a similar like thought, like because I also watched that back. We all watched it back. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And like I vividly remember like right as he said Morgan, like Morgan immediately started crying. Bruce, his mouth was like agape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then me and you were just kind of like emotionless.
Yeah, I literally was just.
Yeah, and then Morgan started crying, and then I was like, oh no, like
I know. I'm like,
ah,
yeah. Sucks.
I know, but again, she would have beaten either of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Ugh. Love you, Morgs.
Okay, we're going to move into our 8th member of the jury, 4th placer, Jonah.
Okay. All right. I said earlier with Morgan, Jonah is a very smart person, and I still believe that. Why did he vote you?
Yeah,
That was
don't get it.
so like Jonah, if you're watching this, love you, man. You're a great guy. But like, why did like? Oh, I literally told him the night before. I was like, I'm gonna vote Bruce, and there's like a very small chance I'm gonna change my mind. If you also vote Bruce, it will at least be a tie, and you can fight for your safety.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And starting more from the beginning,
Yeah.
so like rewinding back to what Corey and Jonah, yeah, where he was the other half of like I'd be like, hey Jonah, so like what's up, like where's your head at? And he's like, I don't really know, maybe like ask Corey. So I was
Yeah.
like,
You guys had that like the little
like
like captain's alliance.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, well, hopefully. But then as time went on, we just became in the group that like voted together.
Mhm.
And so it was just sort of like unspoken. I believe we just continued to vote together. And
That's interesting because like there were people. I don't know how much I believe this, but there were people pegging you two as a duo.
there were people what?
Like there are people that like were seeing you two
Oh
as
yeah.
a duo.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it was like we continued to vote together and like there were maybe every other round or so it was, we sort of just we didn't really talk very much, but we sort of just shot like messages back and forth and we're just like, hey, like I got your back type thing, like
yeah, that's
I yeah, like I got your back and it was kind of just like unspoken. And because we both came over from Keylogger, so it was like OG tribe together and that sort of thing. So it was sort of like, I got Jonah and he had my back. He didn't turn on me for the like me and Tommy vote. Like he stuck with Tommy, which is cool. But I think that Morgan was doing a lot of the in between, kind of like the in between. she would talk to both of us, and
that was smart of her, yeah.
And so, yeah, I think she was kind of like a glue between me and Jonah, if you will. So
yeah,
that helped.
Me and Jonah have an interesting history, or at least my perspective on Jonah is an interesting arc. Because I remember at one point during a live confessional or whatever, and we were still on the tribe phase, so very early in the game. I was asked the question hey, if you guys end up going to tribal, who would you target? And the two people I said were Lewis, which, as we said before, just didn't click as much as we probably could have, and Jonah, for the same exact reason. We were just not clicking as much.
Yeah.
Which is why it ended up being a, I guess, easy pick for the four of us, me, you, Tommy, and Lauren, to vote for him to be the captain, to send him over.
Right.
Yeah. And then when we got over, we we're almost talking game, but not quite. Especially because he was perceived as a flip-flopper, and I was hesitant to sort of band up with him for the fear of other people being oh, are you also being a flip-flopper?
Yeah.
If somebody's being called something, you don't want to also be called that same thing.
Right.
And yeah, we didn't talk strong game until the Lauren vote, and then sort of doing the same thing, sort of lost contact with him, and then Final Five happened. And that was, interestingly, the point where we were the strongest as far as game talk. Would he have taken me to the final two? I'm just gonna say probably not. But but it finally got to a point where we were able to talk game about everyone freely and openly, because it was that close to the end of the game.
Exactly.
And then he voted you, and I was like, oh, okay.
I know, that was just so strange. I was not expecting that.
We can all agree there were multiple points in this game where I was on the wrong side of the vote. I am not taking the blame for that one. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
There was no reason that should have happened that way.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is that Bruce convinced him that he was going to vote Susie. You.
Right.
You're Susie. Hello.
Yeah. And hey.
Sorry, I did.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. And I
guess he trusted Bruce at that point.
I guess. And I guess I sounded like a broken record too, is where I genuinely was gonna vote, or I was gonna vote Bruce, and then I talked to Bruce, and then everything
yeah, sure.
Yeah, then everything I was like, oh wait, and then it hit me. I was like, oh well, if it is a tie, then it's not me. I'm not the one doing it. And if it I'm not the one going in there, it's them battling out if it is a tie.
Right. And I guess that is fair that whoever, wins Final Four fire making kind of has that to their resume.
Right. And I mean if it, and I meant I was assuming that if it was a tie, it was going to be a tie between Bruce and Jonah. And
oh yeah,
that's what I mean by, yeah. That's what I mean by that.
No, you're good.
But but then maybe it's did Bruce convince Jonah that he thought he was going, that he was oh, I think it's gonna be me,
I think so too, because Bruce at that tribal was trying to pick, he was pitching. I don't know. I honestly don't know if he knew Jonah was voting Susie at that point. I think it was just like
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Bruce was just as shocked. I think.
well, it's I think of all the people to get out of this game, that was just like such an interesting way.
Yeah, it was
out.
very interesting.
Because
And
it
then
just it could have been avoided so easily.
yeah. Well, and then of course in my head I'm like, oh, well, also like now it doesn't mean that if it is me, Alex, and Jonah in the end, then I don't have to worry about that anymore because of Alex's promise.
I will admit I was thinking that after I won Final Four immunity. I was thinking like, oh, if I could see Jonah getting targeted because, well, I can't get voted out and like not bring anyone to Final Two, but Jonah could get voted out, and then I'm open to take whoever if I win.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want that because I wanted to like stick with my word, and I was like, I'm gonna take you to Final Two. I'm gonna get you there.
Yeah.
So I was trying to help him out, but again, there was a small thing in the back of my mind that was like, would that be a good thing? Like, if Jonah got voted out.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. But yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Jersey boys, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
They're both from Jersey, yeah.
We
Yeah,
love Jersey boys.
I grew up in New Jersey too.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, sorry, Sean, I know you want to keep going. One final thing. One of my favorite parts of the game is Jonah not winning, most likely to work on cybersecurity. Because that's just funny. Okay. That's all I got.
Because yeah,
Okay.
he said that. He was.
Yeah.
We are going to move on to our final member of the jury, third placer, Bruce.
Bruce.
Oh boy. Bruce and I have a challenging history in this game, I will say.
Did you have any history like before this game at all?
Oh no, I'd never met him before.
Okay, interesting.
But it was more so that like, at a certain point I was just like fed up with like, you know, the lying that he was kept doing to me and the kind of game he was playing.
Yeah.
And we had a very heated argument in our DMs after the Chrisanne vote out.
Yeah.
And it got to a head where things got pretty ugly.
Right.
So I just I think we were kind of gunning for each other's throats. At that point, like with the emotions, I think it was pretty clear once he stole my vote and then used both his vote and my vote to vote against me.
Yeah.
That one round. It is what it is. But like, he was a very good game player, and I think that's why I wanted to, like, a very openly good game player with how he was able to make people believe what he was saying, and I think that's why I was trying to gun for him for a really long time.
Yeah, exactly. He was another one who was he was like, what I guess I voted with him and stuff like that, and he was so appreciative of it. He was like, I got your back, like now that you've shown, like, you voted with us and you've shown us I got your back now. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and but again I think Morgan was doing a lot of the
stuff to like push that through.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, the perception that like the side I was on had was that, you know, everyone's handing the game to Bruce, or whatever. Like Bruce was the one making the calls.
I know, that's so interesting.
I think it goes back to the idea that like Bruce was playing the most like cutthroat, but also very apparent game.
But it's interesting too, because I thought that's what people like kind of thought like I was doing with the like betraying of you and Tommy and like Lauren, and then like telling people like I didn't know where my vote was going, and then like voted like clearly not voting with you, and then like betraying Chris Ann, and like
there's weird perceptions that get thrown out, but I think it was because Bruce was, very it's hard to explain. It's like the style of gameplay was much more aggressive seeming, I guess is the way I can describe it, that people would assume like, oh, okay, he's the ringleader because he's like in the spotlight right now.
Yeah, and maybe also because he was on the tribe from the beginning too.
Right, he had people like Morgan and Chris Ann that he had been with since the beginning, which is like probably also why. Like I forget if there was, but there might have been a perception of like, oh, like Bruce kind of formed that trio, and then as people came in from the other tribe, he kind of just like brought them into that trio.
Right.
Which is interesting, but yeah, again, very interesting and a challenging history that the two of us have.
I know, right?
Although it wasn't an emotional decision, there was, some satisfaction in getting able to vote him out. And I'm sure he would say the same thing if he were in my position.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a fun little rivalry.
Yeah. I know, but overall he's a good guy. So I mean, and knowing you and from what I know of him I'm sure the rivalry was just in the game, and
right. This is all game.
It would actually, it would be cool to like watch another game and like have you two maybe like dominate or something.
That would be interesting.
Like it would be interesting because I feel like between the two of you, you could work well together in an alliance.
Yeah, potentially. But I think in this game, just our game styles were just like yin and yang, like going directly up against each other. Like I was trying to play like a very upfront, honest game. He was playing a sort of like a deceitful game. Not to say like one of them is better to play, but the game styles just didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they didn't mesh together, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun having him in the cast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's everyone.
Okay, next up.
That is everyone.
Next juror, Alex. No, okay.
What? Hey, I didn't make jury. We made it here, baby.
Yeah. Next person voted out. Like, second place. No. I'm kidding. JK.
Well, with that being said, thank you, finalists, for talking about the final 16. Not final 16, why did I say final 16? Thank you for talking about the rest of the cast. And yeah, viewers watching, that's the Rite to Passage.
Was this live? No, because
it's just recorded on Skype.
That doesn't do live stuff on Skype.
Recording, Alex.
For those watching, we have FTC tomorrow night, and we are very excited to see what happens. Peace out.